Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Before we get into the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. The vehicle sitting here behind me is the HVY Barrage. We're going to talk about it a little bit more later. Spoiler alert, don't buy it. And if you're thinking about buying it, definitely listen to what I have to say later in the video. And with that being said, the weekly challenge this week is to complete 5 quickie farm deliveries. And for doing that, you will receive $100,000. So, relatively easy, but totally not really worth it, in my opinion at least. Let's talk about how to make some bonus money this week in online. We have a few different methods going on that are on bonus money, and that are going to be a little bit more lucrative this week. We have KO Perico Motor Wars on double money and double RP for the remainder of this week. This mode is actually pretty fun. I would recommend trying it out. We also have these modes here. From Collection Time 1 to Land Grab 5. Those are all double money and double RP, and they're part of the featured series, so give them a shot if you're interested in them. This week we also have double money and RP on Safeguard deliveries, which are part of the new DLC. Quickie Farm deliveries are also double money and double RP, which is how you're going to unlock the trade price for the Ubermacht Sentinel GTS. We also have pizza delivery on double money and RP as well, and on double money we have taxi work, and we have double income on the car wash safe. So the car wash safe, instead of earning say $30,000, you're going to be making $60,000 every 48 minutes. But something that you do have to keep in mind with that is that the safe maxes at $100,000. So unless you're earning normally less than like 25 grand, you're going to have to check that safe every single time that money hits it. Otherwise, you're effectively losing money that you could be having instead. So keep that in mind this week, but it is actually pretty good if you can manage to stay on top of it. Getting 60k an hour instead of 30k an hour is pretty good, especially when you don't have to really do anything to get that money. So stay on top of that this week. Starting off with the vehicle discounts, we have the Annis Euros X32 discounted this week by 40% off. This thing does have an HSW upgrade, which I probably will actually be doing for the first time this week. So looking forward to that. For 899,000, I feel like it's like okay. It is the fastest coupe in the entire game with HSW on it. If you don't have HSW on your platform, this car is a lot less worth it. I would say if you don't have HSW, you could probably avoid the X32 unless you just generally like it and you want to have one. But if you want it for performance, if you have HSW, I'd say it is worth it. For racing in the coupes category specifically. The regular Annis Euros is also 40% off. This thing does have drift tuning available for it, which is cool. It's also had the missile lock-on jammer added as well, which is also pretty cool. It's got a lot of customization. Unfortunately, this thing falls pretty short of the 370Z in real life. I feel like it's quite a disappointment. I've talked at length about how the Euros has disappointed me with just how the car kind of is. It's just not as good as a 370 in real life would be, sort of thing. And some of the styling choices that Rockstar made with this car aren't exactly great looking. I would say for 800 grand, if you want a drift car with a missile lock-on jammer available for it, that's a fair price to pay for this thing. But I wouldn't really pay much more than this. And I know this thing has a non-trade price, which I think is going to be around 1.1 mil. And for that price, I feel like it's a little too expensive still. So unless you're a huge fan of the Euros, I would avoid buying it at any price higher than 810,000. We also have the Ocelot Swinger discounted this week. This is formerly one of the fastest sports classic cars in the game for racing, but it's been largely overshadowed by the Turismo, especially with HSW on the Turismo Classic. So I would only buy this thing if you're actually just interested in the car itself. With that being said, the customization is kind of ass, so that's something to consider. But it is only 545,000, and it does have the missile lock-on jammer available for it. If this car seems like it's going to interest you, I would definitely say to purchase it now rather than when it's at full price. But I would say for the majority of people, this thing is probably not going to be worth your money. For a helicopter discount this week, we have the Velatus discounted by 40% off. This thing is spawnable through the CEO menu, which is cool. Other than that, though, I don't recommend it. I mean, you can take it to your hangar and change the color of it, which if that sounds worth it to you for under 1.4 mil for a non-weaponized helicopter, I guess you could do that. You can actually spawn it through the CEO office vehicle menu, which is cool. And it is one of the faster helicopters in the game, but again, it's non-weaponized. It does have the champagne in the back though, but I mean realistically, when are we ever in the back of a helicopter sipping champagne? Like, that just doesn't really ever happen. So I'd say for most people, avoid the Velatus, even though it is a cool helicopter. Over on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, underneath the two-door category, we have the Vapid Ratel discounted this week. This thing is kind of just really disappointing. It's an off-road dune buggy trophy truck sort of vehicle. It's rear-wheel drive only, which kind of defeats a lot of the off-road capability of the vehicle. It's not going to be able to climb hills very well. It's not very great at rock crawling and stuff like that. So if you want like an off-roader, it kind of doesn't really do that well at that in particular. Now, it is good off-road on flat ground, but still, like, any supercar in the game will be better than this thing on off-road, you know, on flat ground. So is the Vapid Ratel really worth it? I don't personally think so. It doesn't have a missile lock-on jammer or anything really cool with it. If you're gonna buy it, I would say at least get the trade price first, but honestly, I think for most people, you could probably avoid the Ratel. I think you're gonna be disappointed if you do buy it. The Volcar Warner HKR is also discounted. This is a car that I've clowned on so much over the years. If you want it, buy it. If you don't have any sort of interest in this, absolutely avoid it. Even though it's on discount, like, just absolutely avoid it. If you do want it, I hope you have the trade price so you're not wasting that much money, but basically the reason that I clown on it is because it can barely make it up a hill, which is crazy. Like, it's got that little power. It does have some cool customization, don't get me wrong, and I know not everything's about performance, but other than customization wise, this thing is awful in pretty much every single way, and I don't think looks wise it's even that good either. So there you go. The BF Surfer Custom is also discounted this week. I should probably take back what I said about the HKR, because if you want to talk about a slow ass vehicle, the BF Surfer Custom is probably one of the slowest vehicles in the game. This thing and the Vapid Winky are like fighting for last place, and at least the Vapid Winky is like kind of cool because it's a military Jeep. I guess you could say this thing's cool because it's a Volkswagen bus and it's got some customization, but I mean, if you were gonna buy one, now is definitely the time to do it, especially if you got the trade price unlocked for it under 300k for a garage ornament, basically. It's honestly not actually that bad of a price. So if you want one of these, you can definitely get one. Be advised though, you can just steal a regular Surfer off the street and it will basically have almost the same features, just minus a little bit of customization. Quite a bit of customization, to be honest, but it'll also save you like 230 grand probably. So consider that before you purchase the BF Surfer Custom. We also do have the Brigade 6x6 or the Acid Lab discounted this week by 30% off. Now, if you have not completed the first dose missions, do not, and I repeat, do not purchase this on Warstock before completing those missions, because you're gonna get scammed. You won't get the Acid Lab, you won't get to skip the missions, you'll just have a Brigade 6x6 that you can't even really use until you complete those first dose missions. So complete them that way, buy this thing through the Freak Shop, it should still be discounted. If it's not, then buy it through the website, but just please don't make the same mistake I did on my second character and try to skip doing the first dose missions again. Just avoid that. So don't purchase this thing on the website if you can avoid it. And here we have the Barrage. Now the Barrage is in theory, a really good off-road vehicle. It's armed to the teeth. It's got 2 machine guns. You can upgrade these to grenade launchers. You can take 4 RPGs. It's really good. It could seat 4 players as well, and it's not that expensive. It's 957k if you have the trade price, or just under 1.3 mil if you don't. And that's where the truth comes in. The Barrage really sucks. It's not a good vehicle to drive. It has an issue that is pretty major, especially for an off-road militarized vehicle that's armed and that you're probably going to be using to a degree in PvP. When you land on the wheels, and even sometimes when you're just driving down the road, the wheels will sink through the map floor and get stuck very briefly, but just long enough to completely inconvenience you and sometimes flip the vehicle over unnecessarily where it otherwise wouldn't have flipped over, and stuff like that. And that happens quite often. The armor is also not up to par with even like the Insurgent, for example. Yes, it's weaponized, which is cool, but the Insurgent will have more armor. And I would recommend, if you're gonna buy this thing, just spend the extra money and get the Insurgent Pickup Custom, because it's way better. The Insurgent Pickup Custom can take 9 RPGs compared to 4 with this. It can take 27 homing missiles compared to I think 12 with the Barrage. it's better in every way. The gun is better, the armor is better, it looks cooler, it's more capable off-road, everything like that. I would avoid purchasing the Barrage. I think a lot of you guys will be very disappointed with this thing, especially after you've driven it for more than 10 minutes probably. You will have probably sunken the wheels into the ground. And don't get me wrong, this is not like an uncommon issue with the Barrage. This happens all the time. Within 5 minutes of driving it, if you do any sort of off-roading or anything, you will notice this. I pretty much guarantee it. So I would say to avoid purchasing the Barrage this week. This week within the CEO office, on the CEO computer, you'll find that the warehouses for special cargo are discounted this week, which is pretty cool. So these are going to be 30% off, going for $1,494,500 for the West Vinewood backlot. Now, there are some good locations to purchase that I would recommend purchasing, but there is something that you should know as well that I will just mention quickly here. If you want large warehouses, these are the ones to buy for sure. You got to get them in this row because it's so efficient. You start here, you work your way down, just go like that. Boom, you're done. That's awesome. However, if you do own all large CEO cargo warehouses, you will miss out on some of the car wash safe income, because small warehouses and medium warehouses count as separate businesses from the large warehouses. Not sure why Rockstar did it. I hope they fix it one day, but that is something to note with that. So if you want more passive safe income, you don't want to have all large warehouses. You want to have, probably 3 large warehouses, a small and a medium. Although I think personally, I would way rather have large warehouses than not, because it's just a lot more efficient, and I think you'll make a lot more money this way as well. Just to deep dive into these warehouses that I recommend: the Darnell Bros warehouse, the Logistics Depot, the Furniture Warehouse, the wholesale furniture here, the Cypress warehouse, which is the one at the bottom here, and the Walker and Sons warehouse here. Those are the ones to buy. As you can see, they're just so much closer than all of the other ones. For example, if you had the Vinewood backlot and then you went Darnell, and then you had, say, Walker and Sons, and then you had Bill Jaco or Bill Gecko, whatever you want to call it, and the Zero Gas Factory, that would just be annoying, right? This way, it's easy. Spawn at the Garment Factory, which is right there. Go to the Darnell warehouse, go down, just like this, boom, 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 you're done. Speaking of the Garment Factory as well, the Garment Factories are 30% off this week, so if you want one, now is definitely going to be the time to buy one. You get a little bit of passive income, about $1,500 a day, and you get access to the FIB files, as well as the option to upgrade your terabyte with the Master Control Terminal, the Missile Lock-on Jammer, and the Radar Module, which will remove you from the radar when stationary in the terabyte. The Garment Factory is a pretty good investment in my opinion. The podium vehicle within the casino is the Vapid Winky this week, so I would definitely recommend trying to win it, and I feel bad for anyone who bought it last week because now you can get it for free, so that sucks. Within the LS Car Meet, we have the Vapid Illusion available to be won, and you're going to win it by placing top 2 for 3 days in a row in LS Car Meet Series races, which is pretty easy. It's got Imani tech, it's got armor plating, all that cool stuff. Some good customization as well. You should definitely try to win it. These are the vehicles available within the LS Car Meet. We have the Hijack Rustin here. It's going for $430,000 this week. The Carbonizaire is going for $195,000, and the Enos Super Diamond is going for $250,000. I do believe all of these vehicles are removed from the game currently, so if you do want them, now is going to be a good time to purchase all of them. Out of the 3, I would say the Carbonizaire is definitely a must-have. It's awesome. It's got a convertible roof, which is cool, and it's a hard top as well, which is awesome. The Rustin's a fun car to drive, and the Enos Super Diamond is definitely a bit of a boat and has no customization, but it is a very cool car. If you got the money, I would recommend all 3, honestly. Something that I don't recommend, though, is the Grotti Brioso RA, which is right here with HSW. This is the HSW test ride for the week, going for $1,625,000. I really do not feel like this car is worth it, unless you want to race in the compact category, in which this is the best car, currently at least. So I still don't recommend it. And here within Simeon's, we're going to find the rest of our discounted vehicles this week, because we actually have quite a few more that are discounted. Starting off, we have the Vapid FMJ, 40% off this week, going for $1,050,000. Now, if you want an FMJ, you could definitely get one now. It wouldn't be a bad time to purchase an FMJ. If you want one, now is definitely the time to do it. I'd say for most people, you're probably not going to want to own it because it's not that awesome of a supercar, but it is cool. So if you do want it, now is definitely the time to get it. The Invitero Coquette Blackfin is also available in here, going for $417,000. This thing sounds phenomenal. It's also got a good bit of customization as well. I do recommend the Cockette Blackfin this week while it's discounted. The Bravado, I'm not even gonna say the name, and you can tell me how to say it. I'm still not gonna try. Germans, just don't even bother. Going for 417,000. I think for that price, this thing is awesome. It sounds great as well as the Blackfin, and it's got a little bit of customization. I think you should have one for sure. We also have the Overflawed Entity XF, going for $477,000 this week. If you don't have an Entity XF, you've never had one, anything like that, now is definitely going to be a time to have one for the first time before GTA 5 officially dies off and we move on to GTA 6. I would definitely buy an Entity XF and enjoy it for the rest of the time that this game is going to be around. The Seminole Frontier is also $428,460. This thing's fantastic off-road. It has a lot of customization. It's a cool car. I would recommend it. We're 5 for 5 in Simians, guys. Imagine, except, well, I guess we're 4 for 5 because the FMJ I would only recommend if you really want it, but not bad for Simians, to be honest. Shockingly, Luxury Autos is super mid. We have the Dinka Jester RR wide body, and we have the Vapid Uranus Law Speed as well. Yeah. Within the salvage yard, a couple of the discounted vehicles this week are available to be stolen, but don't worry, you can't keep any of them this week. The Ennis Euros is available by completing the Podium robbery, the Blackfin is available by completing the McTony robbery, and the Obey Omni or Omnis is available by completing the Duggan robbery. Again, yeah, none of them are claimable. The Fine Art file is your priority file this week. Alright guys, the gun van location today is at the restaurant on the Western Highway, just north of Fort St. Cudo, and within the gun van we do have a discount on the stun gun. It is going to be 30% off this week. We also have the combat shotgun available, the compact EMP launcher, the minigun, the heavy revolver, and the knife. For throwables, we have stickies, molotovs, and tear gas, and of course, armor is 10% off. The RC Bandito time trial today is Construction Site 1. Your Junk Energy time trial is Sewer System. Your HSW time trial is East Vinewood to Vespucci Beach. So this is going to start right here, and it's going to end right next to the mask shop right at the end of this road right here. And your regular time trial is Route 68. Anyway guys, there you have it. That has been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know what you thought of my video in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't, and consider subscribing if you're new. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.